And good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are around the world. I am Marcus Holmes, the HR Passion Guy, and I'm excited to be here today with another installment of Passion Fridays. So, whether you're watching us on LinkedIn Live, from which we emanate today, via Restream on Facebook Live, on the Marcus R. Holmes page, or Loving Stuff, on Twitch TV or YouTube events, or even IG Live, take a moment and click share and tag someone to join us in what will be a great and inspiring show today. Bonjour from France. Thank you, Simone Jomor. Thank you. I hope that you will click share and help me on the French connection on that side of the pond, if you will, and tag some folks to join us in this discussion. I think you will be absolutely inspired to meet our guest today. So join Simone Jomor, who is in France on the countryside, and drop in the comments what the weather is like where you are, and click share. Tag 5 of your closest connections if you're on LinkedIn Live with us. 5 or 10 of your closest Facebook friends or followers if you're on YouTube events and Twitch TV and Facebook, or also on IG Live, to join us in today's discussion. We hope with Passion Fridays, every time that we bring an episode, that it will inspire you to live on purpose and to live in the center of your passion, impacting lives and our world. And so I believe we've happened upon yet another extraordinary human who is doing that very thing. I want to read a little bit from a commendation, excuse me, for this fantastic educator from the Coleman A. Young Foundation, congratulating him for being the Educator of the Year. Just some excerpts from this letter that congratulates Counselor Johnson. Coleman A. Young Foundation proudly announces your nomination and selection as one of 3 2021 Fred Martin Detroit Educators of the Year. This honor recognizes Detroit educators who go above and beyond to help the city's students reach their full academic and personal potential. Upon review of all submissions, it was clear that you are deserving of this honor. It goes on to say, we thank you for pouring into your students so courageously. We acknowledge your strength and focus. And so before I bring him on, I want to play a short clip. Thank you, Norma Jelks. I hope you're clicking share and tagging someone to join us in celebrating our guest and also hearing about what drives his passion and how he's living on purpose. But here's one of the video clips that caught my attention when I was thinking about passion, and I think it will catch your attention as well. So we're going to play a small clip. Click share and tag someone to join us in this fantastic discussion today. And I am going to share a small video clip that I think you will definitely enjoy.
Okay, so I am doing a promotional video project program with the freshman class, right? And they are going to pretty much be doing like a reverse college fair. But the goal of it really is to like motivate and start talking with our freshmen about applying to college, not applying to college, but thinking about college early or whatever. And so what we're doing is we're highlighting students who have done like a good job in their first semester, who's done a good job in their four years here at UPAD, and having them like do like this quick message saying, hey, start thinking about college now. So the whole campaign is think about college now for the freshman class. And it's from successful seniors such as yourself, who is going to read a message saying, hey, this is why you should start thinking about college now, right? Can you read, it's like a 2-paragraph message or whatever. We're going to record. I'm actually recording now. I'm going to record you whatever, saying it or whatever, and then it'll go from there. Okay, is that cool?
Yeah.
All right, so I am going to email you the message. Hold on one second. All right. Got it. All right, so I am emailing it to you now. I just shared it with you, so you should have it.
Okay, yes, I just.
Okay. So let's just do a quick run through or whatever and see if how it sounds, if it kind of flows or whatever naturally. Like I said, I'm recording already, so let's just see how it goes. Okay, so just go ahead and read through.
Okay.
No, and again, you don't have to don't try to overthink it or whatever. Just kind of read through it or whatever. I don't want you to try to be too professional. I want it to be kind of real as well too. So
Okay.
All right.
Hi, class of 2024. My name is Kennedy. I'm currently a senior at UPAD. Go Mustangs. I'm here to talk to you about the importance of preparing for college now. Freshman year is important because this is the year that college will start looking at your grades and determine if you are admissible to their school. It is important that you show off that you start off on the right foot. Go to college. Going to college is important to me. In my 4 years of UPAD, I maintained a high academic standard. I participated in the College for Creative Studies Bridge program and their dual enrollment. As a result of all my efforts, I found out that I am receiving
Read the rest of it.
Oh my goodness! That I am receiving that I am receiving the Droop Scholarship to College for Creative Studies, and the scholarship is now allowing me to attend CCS in the fall. I am college.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am so proud of you. And you should be proud of yourself too. This is huge, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, congratulations. We're going to college, yes.
Thank you.
We are going to college. So look, I'm done embarrassing you now at this point, so I'm gonna stop recording. You have any questions, concerns?
I bet. I didn't set it up because I didn't want you. I wanted you to have the same reaction that I had. That, and thank you, Norma, and thank you, Simone. Drop more comments and tag folks to join us in the discussion, because I still have this sense of the nerves on the back of the hairs on the back of my neck, right, raised as she's learning that he's kind of set up, right, having her read that she's getting the scholarship, which I think is so awesome. I'm going to bring him right on, and I just want to read one more thing from the letter, commending him for being named Educator of the Year. The 2021 DEYA, again, that's Detroit Educators of the Year, recognition follows a year unlike any that we have experienced. The unique challenges confronting Detroit principals, teachers, and counselors prompted Coleman Young Foundation to consider how individual efforts contribute to an educational climate that required an all-hands-on-deck movement to protect students' well-being. So let's congratulate the Coleman Young Foundation Educator of the Year, who is our guest today on Passion Friday, John Johnson. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, and they're saying in the comments, fabulous work. When you rewatch that, John, how do you feel both being Educator of the Year and hearing that your individual efforts are helping to shape the lives of these young people? Kudos to you.
Man, it is amazing. Like I still get misty-eyed watching it. When we started the video, whatever, like I was trying not to laugh or whatever, because I knew I was about to surprise her. Yeah. We do the scholarship, annually, and our students, they pretty much spend their entire high school year, academic tenure with us, pretty much preparing for this scholarship so they can go to the College for Creative Studies, because it's such an amazing school. But it's also extremely expensive. And so, they invest their entire, high school tenure trying to get this scholarship so they can go to get this opportunity. And so when it happens for them or whatever, you're able to see that they are passionate about it and that they're emotional about it because they worked for it for 4 years. And to see their dreams come to fruition is an amazing thing. And just having to know this student since, her middle school year, and to see her kind of come along or whatever, and to see her, at this point of where she's winning, is just an amazing feeling as an educator. As an educator, you just always want to see your children win, and every time they win, you just get emotional, and it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you just mentioned that you got a chance to see her grow. And I think we all, John, have a favorite teacher or counselor who we will never forget. And so I am sure that many of them will never forget your efforts. What brought you to education? Why is this where you decided to be? What brought you here?
So like my journey was an interesting one, right? So like after I graduated from high school, like I didn't necessarily have the direction of where I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to get out of Muskegon. That's where I'm from, Muskegon Heights, Michigan. Go Tigers. Um, but I knew I wanted to get out of Muskegon and I wanted to experience something different or whatever, but I didn't necessarily know what that consisted of, right? And so I decided I was going to college just so that I could like discover me and discover what my pathway would be. And throughout my college tenure at, Michigan State University, go green, go white, there were so many people that invested in me in that same capacity. I remember my counselor at the multicultural center. I had gotten to a point where I had just literally like was about to give up at Michigan State. I believe I was in like my third year, and I was like, I can't afford this anymore. I'm stressed out, and my rent is due. I think my rent was due, and it was like, that's the last straw. I don't have money to pay my rent. And she literally pulled out her own checkbook and wrote a check to pay my rent. And it was one of those transformational moments for me. And it was at that moment I was like, this is the type of work that I want to do, right? I want to invest in people the way that so many people have invested in me. And so, after I had graduated from Michigan State, I ended up working as an admissions representative, and then I ended up working at for the No Luck Workers Left Behind program. I worked as a transitional director of transition at a college, and then the opportunity for me to work at the high school had came, and I was like, I don't necessarily know if I want to work in a high school setting because I'm not really, with kids or whatever. And so an opportunity for me to work at the high school and at another college that was in Georgia had came up at the same time. And, I literally prayed on it. I was like, Lord, I'm going to go to sleep tonight, and whatever direction you send me in, that's the direction I'm going to go in. When I woke up, all I could think about was working at this school. And I was like, okay, so that's what I'm going to do. And I accepted the job, and it has been the most rewarding position and experience of my life. Just working with these kids.
Wow. I think that's awesome that you do give it up to God and let him give you direction. I love that. And so how long have you been at this particular school? Tell us the name of the school and how long have you been there and what's your role there?
So this is my 6th year. I just finished my 6th year. Like today is actually our students' last day. And my position is the college coordinator. So in this position, of course, I help students transition into their post-secondary goals, whether that be going into college, going into the military, going into the workforce, or going into a trade school. Right? It's helping them map out and think about what their plans are after college or after high school. Excuse me. And so again, I didn't realize how rewarding this job would be until I got into it, and I get to work with some of the most amazing students in Detroit. Kennedy, the young lady in the video, was one of them, and I could give you a list of how amazing so many of these students are. And the school that I'm with also is at University Prep Art and Design in Detroit, Michigan.
Wonderful. And what would you say in this year of pandemic, what has been the most amazing part or maybe the most challenging part in staying connected to that passion? Because I will imagine it's been a trying year for anybody that's in education or around it.
Yeah. So my approach with students is very hands-on. It's very in your face. It's very intrusive, but it's also very loving and very caring or whatever. And so to build that relational trust with students, it requires a lot of like one-on-one, seeing you in the hallway, giving you dap, taking you to lunch and things of that sort or whatever. And like none of that was pretty much feasible this year, right? And so we had to like rely on different means of being creative for our students and being able to connect with them in a variety of different ways. And, Zoom was one, but really it was really kind of the only one, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was making sure that we just maintain that level of trust and relationship that we've built for the number of years that I've been here, and just really just continue to invest in the students in the same capacity that we did when we were in person, right?
Yeah.
So just because there's a pandemic, the world didn't stop or whatever. So our students are still looking for directions outside of this pandemic or whatever. Because when things return back to normal, which we're seeing that they kind of are slowly but surely, um, they're going to need pathways and pathways to go into. And so I wanted to make sure that I continue to invest in them. I wanted to make sure that we continue to invest into like our scholarships and things of that sort, and make sure that our students had opportunities after they left us.
Yeah. I'm a little curious. Are the students concerned about going away to school in this pandemic, or have they been where they're, would be online more, or some places not as much in person? What were some of their concerns? I'm just curious.
Well, yeah, that was a big one, right? So, learning online when you have, you you haven't really learned that way ever in life, right?
Right.
And then having to do this quick transitioning because they didn't have like this, month or two or whatever they had to like transition or whatever, get ready for it. It was just like we were in March, and it was like the next week they had to pretty much go into online learning. And so it had to be this quick transition. There was no training or whatever for the staff. There was no preparation for the students. It was just like, this is the new methods of which we're going to educate our students this year. And we just had to pretty much kind of go with it. And so with that, it caused like levels of burnout for students, staff, and everybody involved, even for parents, right? Because it seems convenient where you can just talk to people, but I believe there is this thing called Zoom fatigue. I believe that learning virtually or whatever requires you to do additional learning and some self-learning and some self-reflection and some self-management as well too. And so that's kind of hard or whatever. And then like the support, just the natural human support that you typically get when you're in the building doesn't necessarily exist in the same capacity, right? Like I would every year have a student who would come and say, come into my office crying because they were like struggling in one of their calculus class and they just needed a hug or they just needed somebody to sit down and talk with them or whatever, just to listen to them. And that's not always feasible. Or even just, when you see them in the hallway, hey, bro, here's your dab, give them a dab or whatever, or just a friendly smile. Like that's not always feasible on a daily basis when you're doing it virtually. And so as they then again to start thinking about transitioning into college or whatever, and then there was still some uncertainty about, well, will college be virtual? And it's like maybe I should take a year off, or and then on top of that, there was this whole pandemic as it relates to racial injustice, right? So many of my students came to me and was like, I don't feel safe going away to college, or I don't feel safe. And in this minorized status, when I go to college, when I've come from a community that was historically Black or whatever, and my culture is celebrated, I'm going to a PWI where I may not be celebrated in the same capacity. And so it was preparing them for that. It was as a counselor and as a coach for our students, they had to just really like be able to one, listen and then respond appropriately.
Yeah. We're talking to John Johnson, Educator of the Year, living in the center of his passion. And I think I read somewhere, John, that it's like 5.4 million so far of scholarships that the students there have been awarded. So kudos to all hands on deck folks there. I'm going to the comments. Norma Joke says, that's amazing. The Lord really blessed you to be able to use you for the young people. Go University Prep. Thank you for that, Norma. Click, share, and tag someone to join us in this discussion on Passion Friday. We're looking at Passion on Purpose live. This is John Johnson. I'm going to go to another clip while you all click share. I just want to show another clip of where he surprised another student. I didn't want to set it up, but I thought I might need to give a little bit of setup there for another student that he surprised. And I think this is just fantastic.
Mr. Price, how you doing today?
What's up, Mr. Johnson?
You all right?
Yeah.
Good. Had to talk to you about something. Something kind of important. First, like college, I know you have been accepted to a number of different schools and everything.
Yeah.
And are you kind of leaning any way toward any schools at this point?
Yeah, I got EMU, CMU, Detroit Mercy been saying I got scholarships. Albion saying I have. But I really been focusing on Wayne State and EMU and CCS, just in case if I go there or not. But yeah.
Have you heard anything from CCS?
I had to switch my major to undecided. I'm going to undecided. And I talked to Sabrina about that.
You talked to her about that today?
About like last week, and I sent her the little confirmation they sent me on that other scholarship that I got, and I was asking, and it was saying that I was admitted, so I was just confused about the process because she was saying I had to turn in 2 more pieces, and I was like, okay, but the letter was saying I was admitted, so we were just talking about that. So I switched my major, and I could go in the next semester if I go there, to find out what I want to do for that 1 semester.
Got you. And you said when you talked to her last week or whatever, she talked to you about the scholarship as well too, right?
Yeah, not the one that we were supposed to get, if we get accepted.
Oh, she didn't go over the full scholarship with you.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about today. Are you able to come off camera?
Yeah.
I mean, come on camera. Let me talk to you. I just wanted to kind of talk to you or whatever about it because, as you know, it is a very competitive scholarship, and a lot of your classmates also apply for the scholarship, and they can only give out so many.
Mm-hmm.
I know CCS was on your list of possible schools to attend, as well as some others, which is why I'm glad you still have some other schools on your list.
Yeah.
But again, that scholarship is very competitive, and I wanted to get you on camera simply because I wanted to announce that I am very proud of you for applying and everything, and you've been doing really good at that and everything. And plus, there's still tons of scholarship opportunities that are out there, and I wanted to work with you so we can get you some of those scholarships as well too.
Okay.
Have you been applying to other scholarships as well too?
Yeah, I have, but then I haven't.
Okay.
But I'm gonna have to do some more.
Got you. So, with this scholarship being so competitive, it's everyone may not get it, and so just wanted to kind of put that out there. And then also to offer next week, let's get together, let's apply for some other scholarships and things of that sort as well too. Okay.
Okay.
But in the meantime,
I ain't really, if I didn't get there, I ain't really tripping. I just took a shot and tried to apply to a school that was one of my choices. So I understand if I didn't.
And that's big.
I still got other scholarship choices, so I ain't tripping.
Right. I mean, that's big though, and that's a lesson in life. You can't win something unless you apply for it or whatever. And like I said, I'm proud that you even applied for it. So, which is why I wanted to offer next week, we're going to get together. We're going to apply for a whole bunch of scholarships and everything and see if we can get you as much money as possible. Okay.
Okay.
In the meantime, I just wanted to congratulate you because you did get the CCS scholarship.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
Oh. Oh.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
You got it, man. You got it.
Oh. That's good to hear.
That is great to hear, man. So, Sabrina, as well as the financial aid office, is going to be contacting you
Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. I love that. It was like, I ain't tripping. I love it. Absolutely awesome. We're talking with John Johnson here live on Passion Fridays, another student that was surprised by his counselor and having been awarded another scholarship. John, tell me a little bit as we pivot a little bit. Tell me, what advice would you give to someone? Are you hearing me? Are you able to hear me okay? Yep, I don't know if you can hear me. Uh-oh. John Johnson, are you hearing me? Can you hear me? Okay, I don't know what happened there. Uh-oh, we lost him. We lost him. Okay, something happened. We'll hopefully have him come back in a second while we're awaiting his return. Ah, there he is. We lost you. Okay. I'm talking away and you just bop into some. I'm like, okay, he's not hearing me here. All right. So that was another video we surprised one of your students with. I love it that he was like, I ain't tripping. I love it. You know, I think it speaks to a lot of things about our young people, but about them being tenacious and being able to say, you know what, if I don't get this one, I'm going to get the next one. And that comes, I think, from building them in an environment that says you're going to succeed no matter what. And so I want to pivot and talk to you a little bit, John. You mentioned earlier you're from Muskegon, you graduated high school, and you weren't quite sure what you wanted to do. I want you to speak to now, years forward, you're making meaningful impact in the lives of young people. What would you say to a person that's at that juncture, whether they're 18 or 50, about finding out what path they should take and finding their purpose?
I would say first, you have to do a self-evaluation of yourself, right? And in that evaluation, like you have to have a positive self-appraisal of yourself, right? Transitioning into college and into life and just whatever phase you're in or whatever, like you have to be able to see what qualities you're able to bring to the table, right? And who you are, and just really just kind of know who you are. And in that you should be able to love yourself, right? Because if you don't love yourself, nothing else is going to work. I would also say, like, to my 18-year-old self or whatever, is like, it's okay that you don't necessarily know what you want to necessarily do, but begin to find ways to invest in yourself, right? And take that however you need it, right? If that means that you go to college, if that means you go into you take activities or whatever, or participate in activities that really improve your self-being and your self-worth or whatever, do those things or whatever. Do things that are positively affecting you and helping you navigate through systems that has traditionally told us that we don't exist, right? And has traditionally oppressed us or whatever. So really looking at it from that capacity or whatever, and take time to just really explore what life is and what you want out of life, right? When I went to college and graduated from college, I knew I did not want to work in a factory. I knew I didn't want to work in business. I knew I wanted to do work that was going to give back to the community and have impact on people's lives or whatever. And I found that working in education and the very many capacities that I've worked in education, but more importantly, even just with this one or whatever. And so, find out what brings you joy and what you want to do specifically in life. I say, like, to my students all the time, like, adulting is hard, but it's really hard when you have to go to a job that you hate every day. Right? Like, that sucks, right? Because you spend a majority of your life working. Right. And so you should go into something that is meaningful for you, and that you enjoy doing. Like, I love going to work. Like, even on days where I have off, there's times where I'm still doing work just because I love the work that I do so much.
Yeah.
But also, aside from work or whatever, finding balance in the things that you just enjoy doing outside of work or whatever too, because your entire life should not be about work. Your life should really be about things that bring you joy and bring you passion consistently, right? And so, looking into those things as well too. Like, I've tried some crazy things over like, I went skydiving, I've raced in a race car, I done went whitewater rafting. I've done all these things and I've done them because, like, traditionally people say African Americans don't do those things, right? And I was like, well, I'm gonna prove you different. I'm gonna do them, right? And so, leading me into my last one or whatever is, like, don't let people define you for yourself. And if there are things in life that you want to do, there are things in life that you want to explore, do it, right? But at the same time, make sure that you do the work, because when you do the work, people will notice and people will award you things such as the Educator of the Year and things of that sort. So yeah, I kind of
Okay.
rambled.
No, that was good. And so some of the things that I heard in there, I know you talked about exploring life, finding joy, finding balance, finding meaningful work. You started talking about loving yourself and investing in yourself, right? And exploring. So I want to go back to that first one because I think that worthiness consideration is something that every person, especially African American person, but every person contends with. How do you go about that journey of being passionate about yourself, loving yourself? How does one do that who may not have experienced that? What would you advise? What did you do? How did you come to loving yourself, believing in yourself, building your self-esteem up, building your worthiness quotient, I call it, up? How did you go about that?
Yeah, that's interesting because like there was a time where I didn't. I didn't have love. I hated what I saw when I looked in the mirror, right? And I remember one day I just literally like I woke up and stood in the mirror and I just stood there and just looked at myself and began doing this, just breaking myself down, peeling my layers back or whatever. And I began to like start crying or whatever. And when the tears started to flow, I knew the breakthrough was happening, right? And I was able to start seeing the things that I am and the person that I wanted to be and the man that I was going to be. And it was just me doing a self-reflection and saying and looking past all of those things that had put me in like that dark place of not loving myself, right? And letting that go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the tears start flowing, that's when you're starting to let go of all those things that have happened that put you in that depressive and that dark place or whatever. So let those tears flow or whatever. And I think that's one of the things that we sometimes we have a hard time doing as Black men, is just letting your heart break and letting the tears flow, right? Sometimes you have to do that so that you can relieve some of that weight. But once you do it or whatever, and you start doing that daily, you'll start seeing something different. Like, wow, you are an impressive person. Wow, you are an incredible person. Yeah, you did overcome this. Wow, you were great at this. Wow, you are a loving person or whatever. And when you find those things that you don't like about yourself, change them, you know, right? For me at the time, like I was like 270 pounds, right? And I was like, I don't want to be at this weight anymore. And so I started down this road of like, again, loving myself. And in that, I wanted to lose the weight so that one, I could be healthy and that I can appreciate the person that I was looking at in the mirror. So it's doing those things and whatever that looks like for you or whatever, do those things as well too. I also highly, speak to a therapist. I think those are very good means for like doing self-exploration and things of that sort, as well as just doing the work to invest in yourself. When you start investing in yourself, you'll see the things that you are able to accomplish.
Thank you for sharing that. I was going to say, I was going to ask, if you looked in the mirror, what did you see? But I guess at some point you were 270 pounds. So you might have said, hey, I don't like this. And where are you weight wise, if I may ask today?
I'm 175 pounds.
See,
yeah.
So that's different. Somebody watching might say, John, well, what did you hate that you saw? Somebody watching might say that, but it was a different person that you saw. Is that right? And maybe experiences, because sometimes we attach what we see to the experiences that we had.
Yeah, and I would say it wasn't just a weight thing. It was just who I was or whatever. I felt like I was always in someone else's shadow, right? Like I have three incredible older brothers, right? And I was just always little Cam or little Will or whatever. But I had no real sense of identity of myself or whatever. And so, kind of going through that, like I had to start defining who is John, and who does John want to be, and what impact does John want to have in this world, and what legacy is John going to leave or whatever. And so it was having, again, that self-appraisal of who I wanted to be, and what I was going through or whatever. And so once I saw all of those things and I put those into fruition, I just started making those things happen. Right. I wanted to be college educated. I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to run a marathon. I wanted to jump out of a plane. I wanted to experience life. I wanted to have a comfortable life. I wanted to work in a field that allowed me to give back and invest into youth. And so I was able to accomplish all of those things just because I was able to have that moment of self-evaluation. And it's a constant going thing, right? It's not just a one-time thing. It's a thing that you should do annually, right? Either that's once a month or once a week or once a year. You should always be doing an evaluation as to like, what do you want to be and who do you want to be and what's your next step is.
That's great advice. And I so relate to the part of having outstanding siblings. I'm the youngest of 5. And so everybody went to college. So I had to. It wasn't really that, oh, college is what I want to do. It was the requirement. I saw what they were doing and my dad was like, hello. So I had to kind of follow that path. So I so relate to that. Outside of what you're doing with young people, what brings you joy? What brings you passion and joy?
Man, it's just a ton of things, like being around family, being around friends, just good-hearted people. I love water, and I love good views. I love to travel. I love to just try new things, like, right. So, like, as I said before, like, I remember when I decided I was gonna go skydiving, not skydiving, yeah, skydiving. Everybody was like, "You are crazy! Like, that's crazy!" Like, and I was like, "Well, I want to try it because it's my life." You're like, right. And did it. And it was, again, one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Right. When I went to like race cars or what, I didn't actually race a car. I was in a race car. Right.
Gotcha.
There's a difference. I used to love watching race cars or races on the TV when I was a kid and playing with like the little matchbox cars or whatever, and to actually be in it or whatever was just an amazing feeling from you or whatever. And so I think we just got to get to a point where you just start seeing, like, again, what brings me joy? What are the things that I want to do? And stop letting people tell you or shape how you should do the things or how you should live your life.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. And I think I want to ask you this, though I think kind of interwoven in some of your responses, you've already said it, but there are people, John, who want to change careers or want to leave a relationship or want to do something that's unfamiliar to their current existence. They don't feel that same, I'm going to say, thirst for life that you say, hey, I just want to try it. I just want to do this. What advice would you give to people who are afraid to jump? They're afraid to skydive. They're afraid to be in a race car. They're afraid to run a marathon, but something about them is aching for more. What would you advise them to do?
Oh, I hate to say just jump, but just jump. Sometimes you have to, like, you can't live your life with what it shoulda, coulda, or living in a situation that does not bring you joy. Like, right. Everything in life is not going to always be perfect, right? You could even jump and things are still not, better or whatever. But what we do know for certain is that, like, if you stay in a situation that is like bad for you or that isn't healthy for you or whatever, you're going to consistently get the same result or whatever. And so if you are in a bad relationship, or if you're like in a career that is, is not happy, that you're not happy with or whatever, just take those steps to make changes or whatever. And change does not necessarily happen like, overnight. Maybe it's, you take minor steps or baby steps until you get to the change that you want to see or that you want to be at. But start making changes, because I like to say that life is long, but life is short as well too, right? And when you leave, or when you look back over your life, you want to be able to say, I was able to do this, I accomplished this, and I was happy with the life that I led. You don't want to be 40, 50, 60 years old saying, I didn't do anything with my life because I was stuck in a bad job or I was stuck in a bad relationship. No, enjoy your life. Find ways to enjoy your life, right? And do that, right? And just take the necessary steps. And again, it goes back to, as I said before, like, invest in yourself, right? And that's not always easy because we're taught to, like, giving is, the thing to do, and that is great. But you can't give to people that you haven't given to yourself first, that you don't have in yourself to give.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer of that. I think self-care is really love speaking to to yourself. You got to love yourself before you can pour into other people or give to other people. So you got to really work on self-care. Thank you, Poonam from India, so much for joining us on LinkedIn. And if you're joining us on LinkedIn Live, on Twitch TV, on YouTube events, or Facebook Live, we're talking with John Johnson, who is the Educator of the Year. And as you can see, he's living in his passion on purpose. And I love this part, without regrets, right? Because so many people are not jumping, right? It does feel hard to jump, John, sometimes, but I think it might sound like you stole Nike's slogan, just do it. But you do have to, at some point, make a decision. Do you want to live in regret? And so I think it's an outstanding example to say, hey, I did skydiving, I did all of these things because you just want to experience, and you'll never know what's on the other side of the jump if you don't just do it. We're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you a little bit more about the scholarships and your students and anything else you want to share with people who need to get in the center of their passion. But we've got a great event happening tonight live on Facebook. It's Movie Fun Night. And I just want to share with you this clip that you will join us, hopefully, and get your tickets to the exclusive event.
What? You mean Marcus Holmes and the Love and Stuff community is kicking off Father's Day weekend with a movie fun night live on Facebook, June 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Oh, that's dope. Y'all better get them tickets, yo. Weebay told y'all. Don't act like I didn't.
Don't act like we didn't tell you to get your tickets. You can go to Facebook Live, the Love and Stuff page on Facebook, and get your tickets. We are highlighting the works of independent Black film makers, and you want to join us there at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can go to the Love and Stuff page right now. There'll be fun, prizes, DJ. It's an opportunity for you to enjoy a movie night right on your couch. It's the alternative to Netflix and chill, because there are independent artists that you should support, and we hope that you will support them now. We're talking with John Johnson, Educator of the Year from the Coleman A. Young Foundation. We lost him again. Coleman A. Young Foundation joining us in what has been a fantastic interview about living on purpose and living in the center of your passion. And so, yep, I think he's back with us again. Fantastic. All right. It's so much passion on here, it can't keep you on. I think that's what's happening. It can't keep you on. So I want to go back and talk to you about this $5.4 million of scholarship and grants, which I think is just impressive. I really do. And must feel very gratifying. As you mentioned earlier, you're watching some of these young people matriculate from year to year coming to this point. So it's almost like the prom send-offs. You know, back in the day, we didn't do all of these prom send-offs. We went to prom. But today there are balloons and red carpets and, you know, everybody from the families coming to take pictures and videos. And so being in the pandemic, how has the celebration around people being awarded these scholarships, how has that changed? And what have you all tried to do to kind of, you know, because they're used to so much bravado, I'm gonna call it nowadays. You know, they even do the prom invitations. I didn't even know about that. I'm like, no, you asked the girl to the prom and she said yes or no. And if she said no, you said forget you then. And you go and ask another girl to the prom, right? But today it's, you know, you do something special to get their attention. So what do you all do nowadays to celebrate? Because I think this is what we should be celebrating. We celebrate celebrity. We celebrate rappers. We celebrate artists, and we should. We celebrate athletes, and we should. But our students going to and coming home from college, I think this should be all of the celebration that we should do. So what do you all do relative to that?
Well, yeah, like, first, let me say, like, I was extremely proud to see like 5.4 million in scholarships offered to our students. Wow. Especially in the midst of a pandemic. But it was really a collaborative work with, like, you know, parents, students, as well as the entire staff at UPAD. Because it wasn't easy. Like, I really kind of went in with this target of, let me at least get like 3 to 3.5 million in scholarships to, you know, support students or whatever, because, you know, I figured through the pandemic, like, this is just going to be horrible, because we couldn't do like a lot of the things that we traditionally do, like our boot camps, our scholarship essay writing and things of that sort. We just pretty much had to do a lot of that virtually, and then rely on like the students and everything to like get some of the things done. But through that, again, just being consistent with staying in contact with them, and sometimes it was just like it was Big Brother. Like I need that scholarship application too, right?
Right.
It's due June 6th and it's June 5th. Where is it at? And
Right.
not only are you just turning it in, I need to see it because I need to review it, right?
Yeah.
And then we had just several other members on staff who also participated in helping, making sure that happened or whatever. And when we were doing the tally or whatever, and I was like, we passed 3.5 and we were still going. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing, right?
Right.
So big ups to to the entire UPAD community for participating and helping with that, as well as with the parents, because it was times where I was I was almost yelling at parents through email like, your kid needs the scholarship money. I need you to make them do it. Don't let them go out this weekend until they do, until they do this application, right? And the parents would say, okay, Mr. Johnson, and they would help as well too. But how we celebrate, we have something called Decision Day, and during Decision Day, the students announce again like all of the scholarships and the colleges that they will be attending and things of that sort, which is that was our pretty big celebration. And again, it's pretty much mirrors that of like Decision Day for like when athletes do their signing of which school that they'll be attending for sports in the fall or whatever. And so we kind of mirror that. And again, it's a way to celebrate the students for one, going to college, and then two, who receive these big scholarships. We also do like a scholarship brunch or whatever for our students for receiving some of our bigger scholarships. So through our partnership with CCS, College for Creative Studies, as well as Bowling Green State University, like some of our students are able to get full rides, full tuitions, or just even big like $70,000 and $80,000 scholarships to go to those institutions, as well as like with Michigan State and U of M and Wayne. Like we have some really good partnerships in which they help fund our students or whatever. And so we find just unique ways to celebrate them. And even like sometimes like, it would be like for like my students who got the full rides to Bowling Green. We had 4 students get the full ride to Bowling Green.
Wow. Awesome.
I didn't get a chance to like catch them on video, which I wish I could have. But it would be things like this. Here I'm sending you money because it was a pandemic. Like I would have loved to like take them to lunch and just or something along those lines. But I just had to kind of like send them a gift card and say, hey, I'm paying for your lunch today. But the thing that I think the students loved most was when the teachers and the staff just said, I am proud of you.
Yeah.
I'm proud that you did this and you accomplished this, right? You're an amazing person and you're an amazing student because you were able to overcome when the odds were stacked against you, but even stacked even further against you in the middle of a pandemic, right? You're still able to achieve your goals, and that's amazing. Because what we've seen across the country is so many students kind of like gave up, right? And so to see students to stay on path to reach their goals and their dreams is very inspiring. And in so many ways, they inspired me. They motivated me to keep going or whatever, because it was a hard year for me as well, too. Like, right. And so, my thing is, if they can keep going, John, you can keep going as well, too. And so, it's those things, right? I always say sometimes my students teach me just as much as I teach them. So.
Yeah. Awesome. And how many graduating seniors are there?
We had 101 this year.
101 and 5.4 million among those 101.
Correct.
Quite impressive. I want to ask you 2 things before we go to a close. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned an essay or scholarship boot camp. Tell us a little bit about that. And then tell us, what about the seniors that leave? Do they stay connected with you all and help with the program? Kind of, so tell us a little bit about those 2 things.
So scholarship boot camp and essay writing or whatever, it's just simply I pulled them out of class. I tell their teachers like, hey, look, this big Coleman A. Young scholarship is coming, or the CCS scholarship application is coming due, or the BGSU scholarship is coming due. I need to pull them out of class for a couple of hours, right? Can you prepare them or whatever in advance for like any work that they're missing so that they stay on track? And so for like a number of hours, we would either sit in my office and talk. and go through the application, and I'll give them feedback and things of that sort. Because, you know, sometimes with kids, when they're writing these essays and doing these applications, sometimes they get stuck, right? Like, what do I want to put there? What do I want to say there? And because I only have so many words that I can put in there, sometimes it's like, well, should I put this or should I put that or whatever? And so having a staff person there to just be able to kind of give them feedback immediately allows them to like get the scholarship done in a timely manner. Right. This year we had to do it virtually again, and it's a little difficult because, like, again, like that Zoom fatigue like kick in, and like I couldn't like buy pizza, you know, for lunch or whatever while they were doing the applications, or, you know, just giving them that pat on the back and things of that sort. And so I had to kind of be creative, like, you know, do like hour increments. Like, we're gonna do it for an hour, we're gonna take a break, we're gonna talk and, you know, talk about nothing that's related to this, or just anything just in general. And I call it the Pomodoro technique or whatever. And then we go back into it, right? And then we've had to do that or whatever a number of different times. But again, so that was that or whatever. And then we just have these essay workshops or whatever where I just go over like how you pretty much answer like scholarship essay questions, you know, and I just kind of go over like scenarios of like previous scholarship applications that we've done in the past, and say, hey, this is how you would answer that. This is how you stay on track to that. This is how you do this or whatever. And it typically works out pretty well.
Okay. And then for students that graduate, since you've been there 6 years, do you have updates and reports from them back? And do you connect them as mentors to others? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so they come back quite often, right? So, you know, when we were in session or whatever, you know, we would have alumni come by, like, you know, right after, like, you know, their last day of school, whatever, they're coming back to the city or whatever, they would stop by the school and just say, hey, what's going on? And we would laugh and do some reminiscing and things of that sort. I'll buy them lunch and they'll stop in, and then sometimes while they're there, it's like, hey, why don't you come in and talk to the seniors about like your first year of college or something along those lines. They sometimes people call like, hey, Mr. Johnson, I need money for a pizza. Can you can you cash out me some money? And all right, I'll cash out you some money because I know how important pizza is to college student. Yeah. Right. It's those things or whatever. And like we also stay, you know, connected on Facebook with a lot of our students. What we're trying to do is really create a more robust program or whatever for our alumni, really, so that, you know, if you started but stopped or whatever for any reason. So let's say like you have financial reasons, you have to stop or whatever, or you just feeling exhausted or whatever, or you just didn't start college just in general. We're creating those resources where they're unique, where they can just come back to us and say, hey, I didn't want to start you know, when I, you know, right after high school or whatever, but I'm ready now or whatever. And we can just connect them to scholarships, resources, getting them enrolled in in a timely fashion or whatever. And we're actually hoping to be able to kick that off this summer, where we can do that or whatever. And then also, and this is kind of like totally off topic or whatever, is like we're also doing that same, extending those same resources to our parents, right? So what we found is that well over 60% of our students are first generation college going students, right? Yeah. So that meant there was a number of our parents who had no form of academic credentials. But what we do know is that, you know, by 2030, about 70% of the jobs in Michigan are going to require some type of academic credentials. And so I created a return to learn initiative in which we reach out to the parents and say, if you're ready to go back to school, we're here to support you through that process or whatever. And, you know, we partner with like Focus Hope, Henry Ford. And I'm also looking to get Google on board to that as well, too, and a few other like Detroit Reconnect and things of that sort. And it was just right on time because the governor had that new initiative that if you want to go back to school, that you could go back to free, you go back to one of the community colleges for free or whatever as well, too. So we're connecting them to that resource. And from that, I wanted to like start small and just get like 10 to see what the impact of that would be. And right off the gate, we had like 50 parents who said that they were interested in the program. Wow. Again, it's another thing that I am planning on expanding throughout the next year.
Wow. Awesome. You should be commended for your efforts and congratulations on the Educator of the Year. I think it's fantastic the work that you are doing. And so we really appreciate you. Any closing thoughts that you want to share with us on purpose and passion?
First, thank you for having me. This was really great. For purpose and passion, just live in that, right? And I'm not just talking about, work either. I'm talking about just in life, just in general, right? Living your purpose and your passion. Do the things that you're passionate about. And if you don't know what you're passionate about or what your purpose is, go and step into that mode of investing in yourself and finding out what that purpose and that passion is. Because I truly believe everybody has a purpose, right? Everybody on this planet has a purpose, and you have to find out what that is. Because once you find your purpose and the thing that you're passionate about, it will lead you to your happiness, right? Um, and you'll live a pretty much more satisfied life, and you'll be able to do things that you never thought you'd be able to do. So live in it, live in your purpose and your passion.
Thank you so much, John Johnson. Hearts and likes and emojis, hand claps if you can, wherever you are, and click share and tag someone. I concur with him. Live in your passion. Find out what it is so that you can live in your passion on purpose. Thanks, John, for joining us. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
I don't know about you, but I feel that much more inspired to jump in those areas where I'm afraid, to live on purpose in my passion, to not be convinced about what everybody else wants for me more than what I want for me, and to find some joy in the work that I do. You are the potentiality of the next John Johnson. Whether you are a career counselor or a high school counselor, a college counselor, whether you are in the business world, in the education space, you have the potential to live in passion on purpose. And it's time to jump so that we live with no regrets and we're able to live out everything that we've been placed here in this earth school, I call it, to do. I'm Marcus Holmes, and if you've enjoyed this content, I hope you will click share, tag someone else to be a part of this conversation, to be inspired to become their fullest expression of self. And I hope that whether you're on Twitch TV, YouTube events, Facebook, IG Live, or LinkedIn Live, from which we emanated today, that you will get in the middle of your passion and do it on purpose. Have a grateful weekend, and hopefully you will join us tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Movie Fun Night. We'll close with a brief clip of one of the independent short films that will be featured by Mushad Moore entitled First Date. Take care.
No, girl, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Oh my God. Look, the guy he showed me, that's his brother. Look, that's him in the background of all the pictures.